it's not showing the screen. I need to go back.
So it's displays.
Displays. Oh, it wanted me to confirm that. I don't think this projector likes me. I just brought in some text and a couple pictures. And then when I went to export, and one of the options is EPUB. So you just click on that, you give it a title here and the author, and you can put it a genre if you want. And you can click to use the first page as a cover page if you want. You click on next, and what that does is exports it out. Go ahead and replace it. So sometimes it gives you export warnings if you have things, but most of the time I just ignore those. And then what I did, I already did this, I emailed this file to myself. So now I'm going to go back over to the iPad. And here's where you're going to see Mary's book. And I'm going to click on it when I'm in Mail and open in iBooks. And there it is. This is mine. Very simple. It only had a couple pages, but that shows you how easy it is to create your own EPUB document. Like I said, it works best if you have more text. If you have lots and lots of pictures, you just have to make sure they're in line with the text, or else they start going all over the place.
Mary, can I ask you something? Even though it went to your mail, you didn't open it in mail, you went to this and opened it.
Okay, well, I
Did it go
actually
directly there?
I already emailed the file that I just showed you to myself, and so.
Right, so it
When I was
went to your
in mail?
email.
Okay.
And then how did you get it to the bookshelf?
Okay, what I did was click on it
Yeah.
and see it popped up,
Oh,
open in
open
iBooks.
iBooks, gotcha. Okay.
I could also open it in any other things that would recognize an EPUB.
Okay.
Good Reader will open an EPUB also.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's, whatever you tell it to open it in, it'll go right to it.
Thank you.
And it put it in my library, so it's
Okay.
right there with my books. And since it's an EPUB, it is automatically in here with the rest of my books. And
Maybe open it in Goodreader to show us what the difference of that looks like. So that looks like a book, because Goodreader just looks like pages of text.
let me look here. It's going to ask me, Goodreader has different viewers. It has PDF and the text and the graphics viewer. Oh, now it says PDF file form is not recognized, so let me see. Here we go. Well, it doesn't like it, does it? So I'll use it in, I'll use it in iBooks. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So if you download into iBooks an ebook, it's going to open it up in the bookshelf that's called Books. If you open up a PDF in iBooks, it's going to put it on this PDF shelf. But did you know that you can also create your own bookshelves? You come up here where it says Collections, and I've already created some of these. I have some Apple Product books here. How you do that is go to New, and then you just title it, well, I'm going to put Bios, and he's going to create a new category. Click Done. And I'm going to go back to my books. And what I'm going to do now, see I have this bios bookshelf, but I don't have anything on it yet. So what I'm gonna do is go to my books, and I'm gonna click on the edit button at the top right, and I'm gonna click on the Steve Jobs book that I have, and I have one on Lincoln, and those are both kind of bio books. And then I'm gonna click on the far left side there, it says move, and I'm gonna move them, and it brings up my little collections thing, and I'm gonna click on bios. And now I have a separate bookshelf that's just, that I created myself. So I can categorize all of my books. And if I have a PDF that's, let me just say that this book here, it's not a bio, but I can also move that there if I want. And so you can create your own shelves that have both EPUBs and PDFs in them. So if you have numerous things, some of them are PDF, you can create your own bookshelf that has both of them instead of having them separate. Any questions about that? If I decide I don't like the word bios there, I can go in and edit, and I can delete this bookshelf. It's not going to delete the books that I have because they're already there, but I can change the name or whatever.
So Mary, if you have something that you put on one of your bookshelves, can you have a search across there in case it's a PDF that's not in the PDF bookcase, but you would put it in the BIOS?
You want to,
Where to be able to find it again if you've got a big collection?
Is there a search feature on there? Oh, yes, there is. If you go up to where instead of it showing bookshelves, it's just showing it this way. Well, there wasn't.
Flip now.
There was, huh?
Flip now.
Is it?
I saw it for a split second.
Yeah, it was there there it is.
Right
Yeah,
there.
there it is. So you can search. That's where it is. Mhm.
What's neat about this tool here is if you've got a syllabus or you've got some documents for a meeting or any type of thing and you save it in a PDF, instead of going back to your email to try to find that or have it in another application, you've got it on your bookshelf. You go right there and reference it. You can use it at any time. It's really cool.
You can also, if you want to rearrange the order of these, when I go into edit and I click on the three bars on the side, I can move that up. It always puts books first and PDF second, but any of the other ones you can arrange however you want.
Wait,
Are you guys familiar with the store, the bookstore? You can go in and browse by author, by topic, whatever. You can go into featured. What I like is being able to click on a book and you can get a sample chapter. That's really handy if you really want to see if you want to buy or not. If I clicked on this, I'd have to log in and stuff, but it's really handy. It's a little snippet of what the book's about. Actually, it's doing it without me logging in. That's interesting. I thought you had to log into the bookstore.
just recently logged in.
Not today.
Annabelle, did you have a question?
Well, what I was gonna say is that if you're not in the iBooks, you can just from the home screen swipe right, and the search engine for the whole iPad will come up, and you can type the name of what you're looking for, and it'll find it in your iPad, whatever it's
That's
at,
right.
and then you can just click on it and go and open it with the program that it needs to open.
That's what he's
It's
talking
that
about.
smart.
If you swipe all the way to the left.
Could you demonstrate that?
Okay, say this is what you have up here on your screen. If you swipe all the way, push your finger all the way to the right, and then this screen's gonna come up. You've probably done that by accident.
And if she types in Steve Jobs, it should go find that book.
But it searches inside my contacts and everything, so it starts searching all kinds of things. Any other questions about iBooks? It's pretty handy to be able to do. And of course, I don't know if any of you are familiar, you can make the page brighter, you can make the text bigger, you can change the font, you can turn the sepia tone off if you want. You can search within a book right there. And you can bookmark if you're reading a long book. This is a very short book, so. but I can place a bookmark there, that's where I'm at. It's a really handy thing.
Thank you, Barry. We're running short of time, but we do want to cover one other thing, and I know this has been a long session for you, because it's one of the longest iPad users meetings we've had, is I'd like Matt to explain the iCloud to you, and go through some of the basics of that. Yes, Charles?
Before you do that, I notice you have the assistive touch button live on your iPad.
Yes.
Is that handy for you as presenting, or?
It's not for presenting, but for me, it's handy I just like going there and referencing it while I'm working on the iPad. I'll explain all of that right now without pressure, and you're going to be asked questions. Let me ask them to you. Answer them.
All right, I'll try and give it a quick, fast, dirty overview of this. Let's see here. So iCloud is Apple's take on the cloud. It is an Apple pretty much only club. It works on iPads, it works on iPhones, it works on Macs. It does work on PCs, very limited on PCs, because you can only sync a few things out of your Outlook. But this is what it really covers. You can sync between devices, so your computer, your iPhone, your iPad, contacts, calendars, reminders, and bookmarks, like bookmarks in Safari. Works in Safari. If you had a MobileMe account or an old .Mac account, I'm sure you've brought it across, you can actually set one up for free now. You can have your own email account at me.com, kind of like Gmail. It will sync your mail and your notes between all your devices. You set it once on each device, and it just syncs to the cloud. Make sure they're all up to date. It includes this thing called PhotoStream. If I take a picture with my iPhone and I have PhotoStream turned on, within seconds, if I have PhotoStream turned on my iPad, it shows up on my iPad. Vice versa, if I wanted to do that. It could show up in your computer library in iPhoto. So it's really nice. I take a picture with my iPhone, it's already on my computer.
And so would you have to set it on all your devices that you want to stream to?
Yes, you have to set it on all the devices you want to stream to. That's very key. If you have a generic iPad that you let everybody use, you may not want all your photos on it, so you can turn it off. It does up to 1,000 photos, and it does it only for the last 30 days. So if you took the picture within the last 30 days, once it gets to the devices, it doesn't leave. But if it's after 30 days, like your old photos, they don't just start syncing everywhere. It will also sync, keep pushing the button, sorry, your app data, that Find My iPhone, I just put iDevice, that application is tied to iCloud, and it can actually back up your device, your iPad and your iPhone and your iPod Touch. You can back up to the cloud. It's very nice because if you get a new iPad, the iPad 3 comes out, you should be able to take it out of the box, sign in with your Apple ID and password, click Restore, and everything comes right back. Everything is with a little asterisk. But it syncs a lot of stuff back, and you just take it and run. And it is free. Free to 5 gigabytes. So once you get over that 5 gigabyte threshold, they'll be happy to sell you more. So it only works on iOS 5, so if you're on the latest and greatest software, Mac OS 10 Lion, it's not run on the old stuff, and Vista and 7. Like I said before, very limited PC integration. It will only sync with your Outlook on your PC. You cannot do your Find My PC, that doesn't work. You can't do any backups from your PC. You can't do the photo stream from your PC. So very limited. Like I said, 5 gig free. The one thing that you will have to be mindful of, especially on campus, is you still don't want to put any sensitive data on your iDevices because it's only password protected. You'll hear this thing called two-factor authentication where it has to verify your ID twice, 2 different forms, and iCloud does not meet that requirement. So if you want to put your personal stuff on there, that's fine. Non-sensitive data, it's fine, but anything, Social Security numbers especially, do not put them on your iDevice. So that's my quick, fast, and dirty on this. let's go back to your iPad. This is where you'll set it up. So you go into settings, on your iPad, you'll click this iCloud button. You'll sign in with your Apple ID. So if you don't have an
But
Apple
that's
ID.
after they've got updated to OS 5.
Yes, so you
They
have to be on
update to
iOS
OS
5. So we'll just assume that you already, you go to iCloud, you sign in with your Apple ID. If you don't have an Apple ID, it will help you make one. And then it will kind of step you through what each one of these does. This is probably the, like we've already gone through reminders, bookmarks, photo stream, documents, data. This one is kind of important. Like I would say, if you wanted, I would highly suggest everybody does this. They back up to the iCloud. It's free. You'll back up your iDevice to there, your settings and your applications. You can set this up. You turn this on. It requires that your iPad is turned off in order for it to automatically work. Turned off so you have the black screen and put in a power. Otherwise it will not back up. But it will, if you have those requirements, it will back up once a day. So automatic.
Did you say black screen and plugged in?
Yes, it has to have power and it has to be locked.
Locked.
I've found it's very finicky. Lock your device first and give it power.
But
It
once
works.
you've done that, then it automatically does it, and you don't have to do that again?
Yep. If you have these settings set up correctly. So you're already in iCloud and you flip the switch to on. So, and it should back up. If you are paranoid and you're going to do an upgrade, you're going to do that, you can back up now. You can hit the button and it will shoot it out to the cloud. So,
Okay, now how did you do that?
I'll just take it over again. So if I go into iCloud, so I'm in the settings of my iPad, iCloud, storage and backup. And then it it'll help you set up, you want to turn iCloud back up on this little button right here. So, anyway, sorry, I'm taking way too much time.
That's fine, man.
So, anyway, any really quick information about iCloud, I can go into it for days.
Yeah. What we are running short of time, and I know you probably got some questions, so we could stop on this. Michael and I were going to do a presentation on briefcase and how you can use that in Zimbra. Still kind of a cloud effect, except it stays on campus. So if you want to see that, we can do that. We can still push the Q&A later, or we can go ahead and go with the Q&A now. How many want to wait and go to the briefcase now?
Why don't I give just a 30-second explanation of that, and then
Okay.
move on. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So the point is that you can use the briefcase folder in Zimbra, okay, in webmail, as a web dev location that then you can enter information, enter a web path in your iPad and pull documents out of there directly into things like pages, numbers, presentations. So we will have instructions about that up on our wiki, that Mary will, I say, our wiki, the iPad Users Group wiki. And so if you wanted to do that, you could follow up for it. But it's just another repository for the place that you can exchange documents back and forth between your iPad and your computer.
Thank you, Michael.
Can I ask a question about how to use Dropbox? I have it both on my computer and on the iPad, and I can't seem to get things to go between
You want what? I can't hear you.
using Dropbox.
Dropbox, that was the next thing after we were going to talk about with the briefcase, was Dropbox. There are several different applications out there. Let me connect up real quick. And I'll show you just briefly some of them. Dropbox I use, okay?
Right.
Dropbox is no more secure than anything else because of the data that you're putting out there is out there, okay? And it doesn't have, it only has a sign-in, or one sign-in, not double authentication.
Have there been any problems you know of? Theft of documents out of Dropbox?
Several months ago, several months, I think it's been about 6 months now, someone got into the Dropbox host server and got to view some people's files. There was nothing ever come out of that except that they got to be able to log in and they had access to files. And that's all we ever heard. But it was enough of a security issue that it put out an alert. There are several people that like to use what we call Spider Oak. Doesn't have a very high ranking. It's free, but also you can pay for a double authentication process for it, and that's a paid process. But the reviews were not really that good on it, and I think because it's a little more complex. What I like about Dropbox, if you're not familiar with it, is I can sign into Dropbox for so much space, like on the cloud, and then I link my laptop, my desktop, my iPad to Dropbox. And anything I put in Dropbox, I can access from any of those devices anytime. Even if the internet goes down, I've still got my Dropbox with my data in it. So PowerPoint presentation stuff, let's see if I've got Dropbox going here. I do. Just to keep that in mind, Dropbox, this is my Dropbox folder that's on this iPad, and it's identical to what I have on my laptop, and it's identical to what I have on my desktop. If I delete it here, it will go out through the cloud and delete it on my other two devices. So if you want to save it, you drag it out of the Dropbox and put it on your desktop and put it in a file. Okay.
So those files are on each device, they're
Yes.
not in a cloud environment?
Well, they're in the cloud still, but they are on the devices permanently, or physically,
Right.
okay? Which is kind of nice, because it's like you do have the file. And it kind of mirrors it to all your devices. If you take it off one of the devices, it's going to take it off the others, because it's saying, hey, it's not supposed to be here.
To answer your question about that, you're having trouble getting Dropboxes synced to your
Yes.
devices.
Yes.
I would suggest that's maybe an account issue. You want to make sure you're logging into all the devices with the same account information.
So we shortened that up pretty quick. We didn't demo a whole lot. And I think maybe on the next iPad users meeting, we'll come back to the cloud and discuss one more. People seem really interested in it. They want to know how they can protect their data and how you can access some of that. Are there any more questions? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. iPad, there are fonts I use on some of my documents on my home computer that are not available on the iPad. And I've asked this question before of how you could add those fonts in, and so far I haven't really found a good answer.
And I don't have one. Anybody else
Okay.
have one? I don't. It seems so limited. I think it's going to expand. That's a legitimate question and complaint. I think you'll see an expansion on that. But
Some apps come loaded with their own,
fonts.
a lot of extra fonts, but it's pretty much, right now, it's just apps.
Which apps?
Huh?
Which apps?
Well, I'm just talking about any app. Some apps have.
Pages has like 60 fonts, but
Yeah.
there are only 3 fonts for the entire system.
Yeah, I think,
Some of the design apps and photo apps and stuff that let you, put captions and
Yeah, I
stuff
think
on
they all
pictures
just-
come with different fonts, but it's app specific at this point.
I've got a question that's driving me absolutely crazy. I'm an original iPad user, and if you get an email with a JPEG or bitmap, can you save those bitmaps?
Sure.
How?
Let me see if I have something as a photo.
Like, I can see the attachment, but if I click on it, the picture comes up, but it doesn't say, you want to save, or...
Can you press and hold
Someone
it?
send me a
press and
picture.
hold
If
I
you
press and hold and nothing happens. Oh, it says open, but it doesn't say save.
Is that in the bookstore you talking about?
Just do my email. I've got
Use
it.
an email.
Well, just like this is a PDF, but if I bring it up and look at the picture,
Yeah.
and then I come over here to this little.
I don't have that. Is it because I've got old old iPad?
Maybe is it her system? Maybe she has a really old.
I have
iOS.
OS 5. I have the new system. I'm using Vetmail.
Mel, sometimes I have to kind of touch around on it to get it to come back up. It comes up like immediately and it goes away, and then I have to kind
Because it'll
of
say, do you want to
tap
save
on it a
these?
little bit.
Yeah,
So-
save these.
Because it goes right away.
Save these to your camera roll. So
Here's
there's
a-
usually a-
here's an email that I have that came in, and this is an image, so if I press and hold it, I can save the image, and I assume that it would go into my pictures store, right?
So it should go in your photos?
Yes.
Photos. I assume it would go in here.
It goes onto the camera roll. Anything that you've taken a picture of with your iPad
Okay.
is on the camera roll, or if you've taken a screenshot, it goes on your camera roll, or anything from any emails that you've done, what you just showed,
So-
automatically go into your camera roll.
So I don't see it there, but I assume that that's where
Is
it's
it
at.
at the bottom?
Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah, there it is.
Any other questions? If anyone here is interested in joining our iPad user group, I mean, we just have people coming and going all the time.
It's
We have
free and
meetings
it's
once a
open.
month.
You can come in, we do it once a month, just try to share applications and maybe some of the things that you've learned, some things we've learned, maybe some troubleshooting. It's free.
Yeah, and the main thing, if you want notification of when we're having meetings and what the meeting's gonna be about, you can let me know and I'll put you on our email list. And Betsy?
What's this about you're starting an iPad wiki?
Yes, that's why I have it here. We did start an iPad wiki last week. We don't have lots and lots of stuff up there yet, but that's the whole point. I want everyone to join and put up apps and stuff that you might come up with. I've created a bunch of different categories. Like Matt put some stuff into the settings here. No, he didn't. Security, sorry. So we're gonna try to get all kinds of information, especially about things that we talked about at some of the meetings and stuff. Get these up here. If you would like to join, you can go to ksuipadusers.tvworks.com and ask to join. I'm the administrator, so I have to click yes to approve you. Or send me your email address and I can add you. So that's what we want to do. We want to get some information up here and then you can use this as a resource. Like under the ebooks, I put in a bunch of this information, how to produce an ebook with pages, and all kinds of other stuff. Some places where you find free ebooks, FAQs for the iBooks. I'm just gonna slowly start putting more and more information up there, but I need your help. I would like you guys to contribute too. Anyone who signs up is signed up as a writer, so you can go in and add things to the wiki.
Well, we hope we've helped you today. We know a lot of you left because short on time. But we've enjoyed this. We hope you have too.